Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I woke up on a Sunday and I wanted to talk to you guys about investing. And I wanted to kind of share some thoughts I was having today, in particular regarding myths that we have about economics and what it takes to actually make money. Now, I want to just welcome everybody and say hi to all of you and, really clap for all of you that are investing for your families. If you're in this category, if you are a person who is looking toward the future and doing the things you need to do for your family, put a yes in the chat. I see Dr. Conrad Bingham. How you doing, brother? William Booker, Andrea Robinson, John Brown Energy, Danica, Nick T. Good morning, good morning, good morning to everybody. Give me a yes in the chat also if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And feel free to shout out your city or shout out the name of your Black-owned business. Let me know what you got going on. I meet a lot of you. I go out around the world and it doesn't matter if I'm in London or when I was in Guyana. There was a brother who saw me on an Instagram live and recognized the house I was staying in. And I'm not kidding. This is a true story. So I'm taking a nap in the house in Guyana. Now, just to be honest with you, I didn't even know where Guyana was. I couldn't have found Guyana on the map before I went out there. I went out there because my wife is a mental health expert and she's an expert also in suicide in particular. And so Guyana was having an issue with people taking their lives because you remember that was where Jim Jones did his, poison Kool-Aid thing. And we were in Guyana, right? And my wife comes in when I'm taking a nap and she says, "One of your fans is in the kitchen." And it was like one of those crazy things where I heard the sentence and I was like, what did you say? So I'm thinking I'm having like some kind of spooky dream, right? I'm thinking that this is like, I'm like, okay, my fan can't be in the kitchen because we're in a country that I couldn't have even found on the map, a year ago. And she said, "No, your fan is in the kitchen." And I said, "Okay, I don't know what that means, but let me go downstairs." And there was a brother literally that saw me on an Instagram live in Guyana, recognized the house I was in, and came and knocked on the door. And he was the smartest guy ever. And that's one of the things I love about all of you is that when I meet you, I know that you're intelligent Black people. You're either smart or you're trying to become smarter. What you're trying to become shapes what you really are. Like if I'm a healthy person and I'm eating potato chips and candy bars every day, I'm not. I might be thin right now, but I'm becoming an obese person. Or if I'm an obese person who's exercising every day, I might not be I might not be in shape yet. I might be obese right now, but I'm not going to be obese in a few months because you eventually become what you do. So the fact that you are investing in your future, the fact that you are, educating yourself on economics, the fact that you're doing what's right for your children means that you're going to be the winners for our community. And so I want to just clap for all of y'all because as you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of ugly buffoonery happening in our community. A lot of people that really
You are one pathetic loser.
That are really trying to lose, that really don't want our people to get ahead. And I just want you to understand that you have to make sure you make a conscious effort to get away from that. So that's just my 2 cents for today. That's my thought on a Sunday. And so, hey, Jason Moore. Jason Moore runs Capital Financial Network, LLC, and Zoom Asset Recovery. Huh, that's interesting. That's an interesting business. Saint Germain is out of Compton, California. How you doing, Saint? All right, so let me move on. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe. And toward the end of the conversation, I'll let you guys know what my stock pick of the week is. There's a stock that I just bought a few hundred shares of that I think is going to be a winner. Right now is a great time to invest. a lot of the trend is upward, and some of the stocks that we talked about last week, we're doing really well. I mean, almost every single stock we talked about last week was doing well, and you were making money if you bought these stocks. I can't remember all of them right off the top of my head, but I know Coinbase. I'd made some investments in Coinbase, and there was another one. Gosh, there's so many of them. But anyway, long story short, most of those stocks are doing well. And as much as I'd like to say it's because I'm this epic genius and I just know what stocks are going to do well next week, that's just not true. What's really true is that you're looking at a positive shift in the economy. You're looking at a situation where a lot of people believe that that good times could be around the corner, and that it's really an opportunity for those of you who who've been making the investments. You get to cash in now. You get to go get that money because you've been making the sacrifice. So anyway, with that said, I'll mention the stock pick of the week toward the end of the conversation. Also, don't forget, you can check out this podcast on Spotify and Apple if you go look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. All right, so let me tell you a few things that I saw today that I thought was really interesting. One thing that got my attention was this guy, Elon Musk. So I saw a story about Elon Musk, and he's in the news every other day. I don't think this is an accident. I think that this guy just wants to be in the media all the time. He wants that attention. I really do. And he's trying to buy Twitter, and that's well, actually, scratch that. He was trying to buy Twitter. Now he's trying to not buy Twitter, and that was just, in my view, a stupid mistake. I mean, just not very smart. As much as I like Elon Musk. I just don't think that was his best moment, and he just made an idiot move. It was an idiot move for him to try to buy Twitter, and I felt that way when he first made the bid because it seemed like he was trying to move way too fast, and I don't think this is isolated. I looked at Elon Musk's whole bio. When I want to understand somebody, I read their whole bio. And the thing about Elon was that I think he married the same woman twice or something, which tells me that maybe he doesn't think through his decisions all the way. And so, so he goes and he tries to buy Twitter. The stock immediately plummets. And then the economy starts tanking. So he's running into these interesting situations, and he appears to be under diversified as an investor. I'm not sure. I don't know his whole portfolio, but I was really shocked when he said that the only two publicly traded companies he owns are Twitter and Tesla. And I agree with you, the writer. He did expose that Twitter was a bot program, but the truth is everybody knew that. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all knew before Elon Musk even said anything that Twitter and Instagram's full of bots? Give me a yes or no. I mean, did you already know that, or did you need Elon Musk to come along and explain it to you? Like, do you really? I mean, did you really need Elon Musk to explain to you? Seriously, like explain to you that Twitter had bots on it or that Instagram has bots. I mean, come on now. I mean, I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're not correct. I mean, yeah, he's right. And to me, if he knew that there were bots, then why would you go put $44 billion on the line to prove that point? Why would you do that? Why not just tweet it? Why not just say it? Why not say, well, my scientists in my lab did an analysis on Twitter and we found that you have 20%. He could have did all of that, but he didn't. He didn't. So everybody knew about the bots. That was not secret information. If you go on my Instagram right now, my Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Go to my Instagram, The Real Boyce Watkins, and you will see bots on every post I make. And I go and I have to block the bots because what it does is the bots drown out the regular people. And I don't know if this is an accident. I don't know if this is something they just can't control or if this is something that they do deliberately when they shadow ban accounts. I have no idea. I don't get it. And just speaking of bots and trolls and frauds and scams and all that, I want to warn everybody that when I go live, apparently there are people in other countries. I don't know if it's Eastern Europe or some part of Nigeria or wherever, or maybe it's in the US, but there are farms of people that will go and find a public profile like mine, and they will have people that will pretend to be me, right? And it's very effective. I mean, they I don't know how they do it, but they're deploying these people everywhere because a lot of you in this chat, give me a yes if you've seen a fake Boyce Watkins, somebody pretending to be me, inboxing you and saying, "Hey, sister," and they use my language, they'll talk like they're me. It's really kind of frightening. What most I could tell people is like, look, if you think I inbox you and I want you to connect with me on WhatsApp, then ask to schedule a face-to-face Zoom meeting where you can look at my face and hear the words coming out of my mouth, because I'm not going to inbox you, right? And a lot of you have been hit by this, and I have to. It's gotten to the point where I've got to let you guys know on every podcast about the fake Boyce Watkins accounts. They will put pictures of me and my wife up there. They will copy every post that I put up. It's really insane what they do, and it's not just programming. It's like these are people. These are actual. They have employees, and I think they have like dozens of fake Boyce Watkinses that are. It's amazing, and they're getting real money out of people. I met a lady. I went to the FraserNet conference, which is a great conference, by the way. If you haven't gone there, it's run by George Fraser. It's a great power. It's called Power Networking. It's the best conference. Well, right up there with the All Black National Convention. I gotta shout out our convention because that's amazing too. That's October 28th through the 30th. You can go to boycewatkins.com if you'd like to come and join us. But anyway, I was at the FraserNet conference, and there was a guy. I'm sorry, not a guy, a woman, excuse me, who came up to me and said that she said, I gave you $1,500 and you never followed up with me. And I said, you did. And I talked to her. I said, tell me what happened. I said, because I figured I kind of knew what it was. And she said, yeah, you inboxed me and asked me to invest in a crypto project you had where you told me that I could take my $1,000 or $1,500 and turn it into 10,000 in 2 weeks. And I said, I would never tell you anything like that. And that was not me. And I'm so sorry, and I felt terrible. But it's like, I really, really kind of want everybody to just kind of be aware. And if you see it, if you could block those people, not just block them, but report them, it would help. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. And also just a reminder, we do have our convention coming up, the All Black National Convention. It is the premier gathering of all B1 people all around the world. They come from as far as Africa and China to get together to talk about Black family, Black communities, Black wealth, Black power, Black politics, Black relationships. My wife is going to be doing speed dating and speed networking. We're going to have spades tournaments. We're going to have trainings on crypto and stocks and everything else. We have a whole kids program, so you can bring your children. It's very family friendly, and we really want the youth involved. So if you'd like to join us, just go to boycewatkins.com. It's October 28th through the 30th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. All right. So next topic here. So with Elon Musk here, actually, let me go back to Musk real quick because there was something about Musk I forgot to mention. Because I actually do like the guy, believe it or not. I know I critique him or whatever, but I like him more than I dislike him. And so Elon mentioned something in an article that I thought was really helpful. It's helpful information. And so let me ask you all a question. How many of you, when you wake up in the morning, let's just be honest. How many of you, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is you look at your phones? Give me a yes in the chat. Let's just be honest. Let's come to Jesus right quick. How many of y'all, it's Sunday, so we got to come to Jesus. How many of y'all, now tell the truth. How many of y'all, when you wake up, first thing you do is you turn and you look at your cell phone? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no if you're in that category. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I do too. And so what Musk was saying in this article, and I actually kind of like it, I think it's a good thought, is that should be the first thing you do. You should probably do something that's better for your mental or your physical health than just turning and getting hypnotized by your phone. Now, I'll admit though, I'm not really sure if I'm going to change my habit. I ain't gonna lie. I might be lying here,
You're ugly, and you're ugly, and your mother ugly, and your sister ugly. You're just plain old ugly.
So I'm being a little ugly right now because I don't think I'm going to change, to be honest with you. I kind of like rolling over, look at my phone because it kind of gives me an opportunity to catch up on life and see what's going on in the world, right? So I look at the news. I check my stocks every morning, just to see because the market trades overnight, and you've got all kinds of economic activity happening. So a lot of times with the stock market, I can tell by what's going on in the morning, like by 6 a.m., what the general trend is going to be throughout the day. Okay. So I'm excited, like investing excites me, like seeing my wealth and my family wealth grow excites me. Breaking generational curses excites me. Knowing that I'm doing right for my kids and my family excites me. Waking up next to the most beautiful Black woman on the planet excites me. Getting the chance to live out my dreams excites me. Being a scholar excites me. Talking to you excites me, right? So I wake up and this is a little tip. I think if you want to be happy with your life, like find something that's going to make you jump out of bed in the morning. There's got to be something out there. And if you don't know what it is, then take time to find out what it is. So Musk was saying that he thinks exercising in the morning instead of looking at your phone might be a healthier approach. I'm going to say that even if you decide to look at your phone in the morning, I would say exercising or doing something in the morning that doesn't involve going right to work is definitely healthy. Like, so what I started doing was I used to get up, I used to look at my phone, figure out all the things I had to do, take a shower, and then jump out and go get to work right away. And now I don't do that anymore. Now what I'll do is I'll get up and I'll get me some water, because when you wake up in the morning, your body's dehydrated. So first thing I do is I hydrate myself. And then the second thing I'll do is I'll make a cup of coffee, and then I'll go and I'll sit on the porch and take in some sunlight, because we all have, as Black people, we have a lot of us have shortages on vitamin D and stuff like that. So I'll take in some sun, and then I will listen to like the financial news so I can keep up with what's going on in the financial world. And it's very relaxing, that kind of thing, right? So find something that gives you your peace. And I think exercising on, maybe every other day is really good, even if you don't do a whole lot. All these things make a big difference in terms of your ability to be productive. So Elon Musk made a good idea, but he's not the smartest guy on the planet, but he's not stupid either. And so one thing that let me see, there was a study here that they cited. They said that, they said Musk, who typically goes to bed at 3 a.m. and is awake by 9:30, said his smartphone habit is born out of anxiety. He wants to ensure that he doesn't miss any company emergencies while he slept. He said, I run SpaceX and Tesla, so there's usually some sort of thing that happened overnight. This isn't the first time Musk publicly talked about his vices or his motivation to curb them. In the 2014 Auto Build interview, he said he'd worked to cut down his caffeine intake so he wouldn't get so wired at work. He said, there were probably times when I had 8 Diet Cokes a day, or something ridiculous. Diet Coke is just nasty, man. Oh God.
Epic fail.
I hate Diet Coke. And they said, let's see here. Research indicates bright and early workouts may improve productivity. In a 2019 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, they found that daily moderate morning exercise improves participants' short-term memory, attentiveness, and decision-making. So shout out to those of you who are getting up and exercising in the morning. It's going to make a difference for you. And a lot of you saw, when I lost a lot of weight, my transformation, a lot of you noticed that. And a lot of that, it didn't come from anything drastic. It just came from incorporating like modest, tiny workouts into my schedule. And that does make a big deal. What financial news outlets do you listen to? Asked Yvonne. A lot of them, anything I can get my hands on. CNBC, even Fox Business, Yahoo Finance, I read The Motley Fool, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal. What are some other ones that I like? There are a few others out there. And so I just kind of do whatever is out there, whatever I see. It might be Forbes or Fortune. I'm always looking to take in information so I can just kind of synthesize it in my mind and kind of know what's going on. All right. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And also, I want to mention to you guys, I'm doing an event on Tuesday. The event on Tuesday is basically titled How to Be a Millionaire with 5 Minutes a Month. Basically how to become a millionaire, make your family very wealthy with 5 minutes a month. And it's something that I'm going to do for the students in the Black Business School. So the cost of this training is $99. However, you can get in for free by just going to theblackbusinessschool.com and signing up for a free membership. So you don't have to pay a nickel. But the thing that you would have to do to be invited is just go to theblackbusinessschool.com. You can actually do a free membership, and you can join us totally for free. We have 148,000 students worldwide. And or if you actually wanted to join a class for free, again, this one is the one I offer for free because I want everybody to have it. If you go to blackkeystogreatness.com, we have a Powernomics training program and a life class that I put together. It's really good material, 200 hours of content. Probably more than that by now, I'm sure. Lectures on Powernomics that we do every Wednesday night that teaches you the power of wealth for the Black community, strategies for building sustainable family wealth, strategies for utilizing wealth as a key to your empowerment. So I would actually, instead of going just to the blackbusinessschool.com, you can also go to blackkeystogreatness.com and sign up. It's totally free. And then you'll get an invitation to our Tuesday night event. The Tuesday night event, it's going to be 8 p.m. and it's basically called How to Be a Millionaire with 5 minutes a month. So that means, sort of breaking this myth that in order to become wealthy, you got to spend all this time and all this energy and all this energy working and everything else. Most people don't understand that if you are, really financially aware and really financially woke, then different ways to make money without doing any work at all. And I know that sounds crazy. It sounded crazy to me when I was younger because I always thought that work came with money came with work. that they had to be connected. So then I learned a couple of things. A person that wants to be wealthy understands two things. That that there should be many times where you're working, where you're getting no money at all, so that later on you can have situations where you get money where you're not working at all. That there shouldn't have to be a tick for tack, one for one, immediate feedback relationship between work and money. Okay, I work 10 hours. You're going to pay me for 10 hours. I get my paycheck and I go home. No, there are many times where I sat down and worked 10 hours and didn't get a nickel. People thought I was crazy. I said, no, I'm going to get paid. I'm just going to get paid a whole lot more later on down the road. Instead of getting a couple $100, I'm going to get a few $1,000. I don't know. I mean, it may come to me, it may not right away, but it's going to happen, right? When I was in my PhD program, I would study 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, even including Christmas. And I wasn't getting paid for that. When I go live and when I've done almost 20,000 podcast episodes and videos over the last 12 years, 13 years, check my record. I've written probably, I don't know, 10,000 articles or more. And very rarely was I ever paid for any of that. I've never been paid to do content. That's why I think it's so funny. We have a network called Fly Nubian Queen. And I've heard people, some of the people that like to, throw shade or whatever. They'll be like, well, he had people working and they weren't getting paid anything to do content. I said, who the hell pays people to do YouTube videos? I don't get paid to do YouTube videos. Don't get me wrong. We did pay some people. Some people, that were generating a lot of traffic, like Vicky Dillard and stuff like that. They made a ton of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We paid them what we could. But there were some people who didn't get paid. And it was like, because I can't pay you to build your brand. Nobody's going to pay you to build your brand or build your business. It just doesn't happen very often. I don't get paid to do content. I never have gotten paid to do content. I've never been on a payroll. In fact, there was, what was it? There's a company called Push Black. And I do a podcast for Push Black called Building Black Dollars. That's another one you can look up on Spotify. And they don't pay me a nickel. So when I would hear these people saying, you should be paying people to come on your YouTube channel, I said, wait a minute. I no, because people offer to pay me to come on my channel. I've paid other people to get them to let me on their channel because the platform is where the money's at. That's where the value is. That's where you're winning. But if you have a paycheck mentality and you always think that every time you lift a finger to do anything whatsoever, any labor whatsoever for yourself or to build your name, that you're supposed to get paid for that, then guess what? You'll never have a name. You'll never build anything because you're not even willing to invest in yourself. You're not even investing in yourself. If you're not even investing in you, then what makes you think other people are going to want to invest in you? Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes in the chat if you get what I'm saying. Like, seriously. I mean, people who just kind of come in with that nonsense, I just, So don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. And I'm not making fun of people who think that way. Sometimes it's brainwashing that leads us down that path. But at the end of the day, I learned a long time ago that if you're trying to build something, you got to be the first person to go to war for your dream. You got to be the first. I mean, your dream, in my view, my dream was like an ugly baby. And I was, and when you have that ugly baby, you're the parent of that ugly baby. And if you don't love that baby, nobody will. Because that dream I had of one day building something and creating something, I didn't have nothing. I wasn't anybody. Nobody knew who I was at the time. So that was my ugly baby. And I had to love the hell out of that baby, even though nobody else did. Because I knew that if I didn't love that baby and nurture that baby and feed that baby every day, that baby was going to die. So if you got your ugly baby, you got your little dream that don't seem to amount to nothing, don't look like nothing, you just understand you're the last line of defense for that ugly little baby. Without you, that baby's going to die. If you're waiting for somebody else to come and feed your dream, maybe there are some people out there that get lucky and somebody comes along and gives them their big break and gives them a whole lot of money and everything else. I'm really happy for those people. I applaud, I clap for you because Jesus has blessed you in a way. God has blessed you in a way that I ain't never been blessed. I ain't never had no white man walk up and say, hey, son, I think you're really smart. I'm going to write you a $2 million check so you can go out and build your business instead of doing anything for me. Life just doesn't work that way, So I would just say, just generally that to get to that point, typically where you're making money without working, you're going to have to do a lot of working without making money. Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes in the chat if you hear what I'm saying. To get to the point where you're making money without working, somebody's going to have to work without making money. Now, here's the thing, though. If you make that sacrifice now with things like the $5 a day investing plan, you have the ability to retire your kids. Your kids actually can be the beneficiaries of all that, and that creates a whole nother set of dynamics, but your children can benefit from your sacrifice. You can put something in place right now. I told you guys, it's fascinating. And we're going to talk about this actually specifically on again, Tuesday night. That's when I'm doing the event. It's free for everybody that's in the Black Business School. You don't have to pay a nickel to join the Black Business School. Just go to blackkeystogreatness.com and you can join. But you don't understand that a parent who starts now and invests for their kid consistently, the amount of money it takes to buy some damn Popeye's chicken could literally be handing their child a check for $1 million by the time the child is like 30 years old. Like it's really not that hard to do. And so ultimately you can either put yourself in a position where you're making money without working, or you can put your child in a position where you're making money without working. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my stock pick of the week. I'm going to read a little bit about this company and let you guys know what I think and why I like it and all that. And I've actually put my money on it. Like I've actually invested in this. This is not just me. Like I'm not, if I tell you something, then that means I'm ready to go to battle with you. I mean, I don't want to I want y'all to make money, but I want to make money with you. So, we all get paid together, or we all cry together. So let's go get paid. All right. So, so the stock pick that I like this week is a company called ACV Auctions. And ACV Auctions, their ticker symbol is ACVA. And ACV Auctions, let me tell you about this company and what they do. Let me read the description here. ACV Auctions, and they've had a little bit of a run up. I mentioned the stock the other day, and because the market was doing so well, it ran up 7.5% that day. The last month it's gone up 43%. But I believe that there's still more uptrend to this stock. So ACV Auctions engages in the development of a pricing application for franchise dealers. It offers ACV, a mobile auction platform that enables wholesale dealers to sell trade-ins by creating app-based auctions. The firm's ACV also operates as a closing tool that enables wholesale buyers to bid for vehicles. The company was founded by Joseph Neiman, Daniel Manguski, I can't pronounce it, Jack Greco in December 2014, is headquartered in Buffalo. So the company's been around for a while. They don't make a profit, but the analysts are very high on this stock. And I decided to add it to my portfolio. So again, this is not investment advice. This is just me telling y'all what I'm about to do with some of my bread. So I hope that you make a ton of money. If you remind me to, and I'm gonna try to make a note to do this, remind me to follow up so the next week we can celebrate if we make a bunch of money together on this stock. All right. So just a reminder, don't forget Tuesday at 8 p.m. I'm going to do a special event called How to Be a Millionaire by Investing Just $5 minutes a month. And I'm going to really break down for you exactly how investing works, how people get to the position where they're making money without working. To get in for free. Again, the entry fee is $99 for this lecture, but you don't have to pay if you join us in the Black Business School, which is free of charge. I go to blackkeystogreatness.com. If I don't even go to the Black Business School, I want you to go to blackkeystogreatness.com because there is a free Powernomics training that we do every Wednesday night where we're going through Dr. Claude Anderson's books every Wednesday. I do this free for the community because Powernomics needs to be the economic Bible for Black people. Powernomics and Black labor, white wealth. Last week when I was at the Power Networking Conference, Sheila Jackson Lee, the Congresswoman, was on a panel and I was the moderator. Sheila Jackson Lee was on the panel along with if I recall, Mike Roberts, who's a black billionaire that everybody needs to know. Mike is coming to the All Black National Convention. He's a great friend of mine. In fact, we were adopted by the same African tribe. We're both part of the Kubio Kansi tribe in Ghana, and he's my nene. But anyway, Mike Roberts, who's a brilliant guy who supports HBCUs at a really epic level, and Dr. Julianne Malveaux were there. Dr. Julianne Malveaux is a woman I love to death. She's like a older sister. I think she's extraordinary. She has a PhD in economics from MIT. So we're on this panel, right? And I was a moderator, and Sheila Jackson Lee was there, and she started talking about things like HR 14 and the push to get the reparations conversation going. Now, y'all know me. I'm not real big on politicians and all that, and I'm not going to tell you what to do when it comes to voting. I'm just going to say whatever you vote for, make sure it works for you. But she's had some really interesting things to say about the work that she's trying to put in when it comes to HR 14 and the discussion about reparations. And so I think that there could be an opportunity at some point, maybe not one in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, but one that says, in my view, that Black people got to be ready. That when the opportunity knocks, like maybe you never know, one day the world might open up the floodgates of possibility, economic possibility for the Black community. It may come in reparations. It may come in immediate access to billions of dollars of capital. You know, I've told you guys the biggest thing that if I could snap my fingers and make one thing happen, the thing I would wish for is if I call my fairy godmother and could wish for one thing, I would wish for Black people to have access to all the capital that we need. Like that we could go to a bank with a 500 credit score or higher and borrow at least $100,000 or more. And you know, some of you may be $1 million if your credit's better than that, right? Why would that matter? Well, because if you look at guys like Elon Musk, the reason Elon Musk is so wealthy is, yeah, sure, part of it's because he's smart. Sure, part of it's because he's hardworking. But a lot of it is because he had access to capital. People don't understand that the ability to just go to a bank and get a loan is life or death for a lot of these economic figures that you see. You know, Elon Musk, do you understand? Let me just tell you, let me just break this down for y'all so y'all really get this. I hope that's okay. I hope it's okay if I kind of explain to you how this thing works. And I'm about to shatter some myths right here. Okay. I'm gonna shatter this myth that guys like him are just better than you and harder working than you and everything else. They do work hard. And you shouldn't take that away from them. They are, you know, creative. But Elon Musk had $100 million that he received when he sold PayPal. He sold PayPal, he got $100 million. Elon Musk wanted to start SpaceX. So he started investing his own money. I don't think his wife liked it. I think that's why he got a divorce. So he literally invested 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. He got to $99 million that he had put into this company. He had $1 million left. Out of 100 million, he had 1 million left. He was about to go bankrupt. He could not make payroll. And so literally he at the last minute, he got financing. The bank came along and they wrote him a check and loaned him money. They didn't give him a gift. They just loaned him enough money for him to get his company moving and off the ground. So you got to understand that a lot of you have a lot of smart people. There's a brother named Paris Dean that I talked to from Techstars, a young brother. I met him at the Power Networking Conference. And Paris texted me the other day. He's a brilliant young brother that has built this amazing company. And, you know, and so we have a lot of brilliant guys like this and brilliant young ladies like this, where if they could get money behind their ideas, they could become excellent employers of Black people. You know, a lot of y'all have businesses where if you got an extra 50 grand from the bank, you could take that business to the next level. Or a lot of you, maybe if you don't have a business, if you could get, you know, somebody to loan you $400,000 to buy a house, that will make a massive difference in your ability to produce generational wealth. Because now instead of buying a house for your landlord, that's what you're doing when you're renting, you're literally buying a house for your landlord. I know this because I'm a landlord. I've been a renter and I've been a landlord. And when I tell you that renters are buying a house for the landlord, I'm not joking. I know this from experience. I know I watch every month when the money that comes in from our tenant pays the mortgage It's absolute bullshit. Don't get me wrong. The system, I hate it. It's evil as hell. It's really an evil system. It's totally messed up. But you know what? If I'm going to have to live in an evil system, I want to be a person that can benefit from the system, not a person who's going to get screwed by it. Okay. So ultimately, these little things make a difference. So if I could change everything, I would just say, look, just put $1 trillion, take $500 billion and put it to the side and say banks have to loan money to black people, even if their credit score isn't perfect. If you do that, then we good for a while. You still owe us another 13.5 trillion, but that will be a nice down payment to get us started on the money that you owe. So anyway, by the way, how do you get into the course on Tuesday? Just go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's the URL on the screen. And you can get into our free Powernomics training, as well as my life class. I put together a Dr. Boyce life class that is built on all the models for success and prosperity and everything else. I like this stuff because I think it's like that stuff that's between the lines in terms of how you function on a daily basis that can lead you to be a high level performer. It's not just, what you know, it's how you execute. It's how you execute. If you don't execute, if you can know everything in the world, but if you don't execute, you know what you are? You become like the fat gym teacher. The fat gym teacher is the person who can tell you everything you need to know in order to be in perfect shape, but they're not doing any of that on their own, right? So I don't want to be the fat gym teacher. I want to be the person who knows what to do, who gets out there and does it. And I'm gonna tell you like this, I'm sick and tired of all the crying. Like I don't like hearing us constantly complaining about how hard it is to be black and all this stuff. If it's hard to be black, then black people need to be harder. If it's hard to be black, then we need to be harder. And we have that in us. We really do. Think about it. We've survived the Middle Passage. We survived the slave dungeons. We survived 250 years of the most brutal slavery in the history of mankind. We survived 100 years of Jim Crow. We survived mass incarceration. We're surviving whatever they're doing to us right now. So we have that ability to overcome, but you have to have the right mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, then you're going to lose. So anyway, let's see here. Okay, see, Michael Holland said you just made a big mistake. So here's Michael's question. I'm gonna tell you, Michael, I love you, brother, but I'm gonna have to use you as an example of how not to ask a question. All right. So Michael says, "Are you taking questions this morning?" Yes. So there we go. I've already answered one question. He says, "I have one thing I really need to understand." But what's missing in Michael's question? Can y'all tell me? I love you, brother. I'm not making fun of you. I hope you don't mind me laying this out here as an example. What's missing in your question is the actual question. So now what's going to happen is when you put the question in here, because I can't see the whole chat and it's moving so fast, I might miss your question, right? So if you say, I have a question, or if someone says, can I ask you a question? I say, yes. So at that point, I have technically answered the question, right? I've answered your question. But that's obviously not your question. So I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I just want to kind of, let y'all know like that's kind of a little bit of a paradox, right? So you ask me, can I ask you a question? I say yes. And then I move on because I've answered the question, right? So just put your question in there. Just put the question there and then I'll answer the question. Then that way we can cut to the chase. All right. So let's see. Next, the next question. No mortgage puts you in a better position to manage risks and invest in yourself. Yeah, mortgages. I mean, I know people like Grant Cardone will tell you that single family homes are for suckers and everything else. I think that's Grant Cardone. He's a real estate guy, by the way. I think that's Grant Cardone's way of promoting Grant Cardone's methods and ideology and his programs and what he does. Right. He's 100% correct that being a landlord is more empowering than being a renter. And it's even more empowering than simply being a regular homeowner. But when I started doing things like selling stock options, I enjoyed that more than being a landlord. I'm a landlord. I've been one for a while, but I don't really necessarily, I give it all to the property managers. And even, I don't even want to meet with the property managers. I don't even want to spend time on the phone, have the property manager explain to me what's going on with the property. I ain't got time for all that. I ain't got time for all that paperwork, all the legalities and details. And don't get me wrong. I do it because it's important for diversification, but it's not my favorite way to make money. My favorite way to make money, or one of my favorite ways, is I sell my stock options. And that is easy. It's easy. I do it on my phone. I get done in 10 minutes, and then I can go literally spend my whole day like doing whatever I want. And by the way, we do actually train on that in the Black Business School. If you go to drboyceprime.com, we have a whole program where all we talk about is generating income from selling stock options. And also we talk about the buy side of options and all that. Now, remember, I'm a finance professor, so I like to really make sure you understand everything from a holistic standpoint. So this isn't just how do you go in here and cha-ching, and make a bunch of money. It's really understanding risk and risk management and different ways to position yourself so that you can benefit from different movements in the market, different ways you can generate income. One thing I noticed about Black folks, for example, in terms of how our economics is different, is a lot of us are really just trying to generate more income so we can just pay more bills, live our best life, have financial freedom, quit that job. I just heard from my cousin. This is a true story. My cousin sent me a text. She joined our options program, and she literally told me that she and her husband made so much money that they're going to quit their job in September. Or she's quitting her job. I think her husband was on his way out anyway. And she's, and so this made me really happy because I invest with my family. And what I want you guys to do is to invest with your family, get together with your relatives, take the stuff that you learn from me and talk to them about it. Like there are ways out there to make money. And so feel free to join us. You can go to drboyceprime.com. We're going to, and if you are in the program already, feel free to make a comment about it. Let everybody know that it's not a joke. It's pretty awesome. And we're going to have a meeting likely next Thursday. I'll send you guys a text. All right, so let's see here. St. Germain says, got a buddy that's managing his apartment complexes. He's tired all the time. Yeah, man. I mean, that, I'm not saying real estate's bad at all. I like real estate, but good Lord, man. It's like, here's the thing. I think it's like, I think if you're in real estate, you shouldn't just be in real estate. Like I know a lot of guys that love real estate. I'm friends with them. Julian Gordon, Jay Morrison, a lot of other real estate folks that just know what they're doing. And I think it's a personality type. I realize that if I want to invest in real estate, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. So when I want to get deeper in real estate, one thing I do, for example, is I'll just buy shares in a real estate investment trust. I'll just get on my app, find a REIT, REIT, and put money into the REIT. Boom, I've got real estate exposure. I'm in the real estate market. The idea of going through long spreadsheets to identify what a good deal looks like and filling out all the paperwork and all that, I think that that's a good experience. I think you learn a lot from that experience, but I don't think that's totally necessary. Also, you got to think about liquidity. How fast can you get your money out? If I put a bunch of money into something, I mean, you can get your money out, but there's a process. I got to call the bank and I got to do a refi and I got to go and okay, you can do that. You can take the equity out of the house or the property. And I know all about that, the leverage and the flip and all that. That's just not something that's fun for me, right? I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like administrative stuff. And so, but that's a personality type, right? So what I think is missing in the conversation about wealth in this country is that we forget about your comfort and contentment as a human being. What are you comfortable with? That's the point. Like when I talk to our son about what he wants to do for a living, I have the weirdest conversations. I sound like a weirdo hippie when I talk to him because I'll just say, well, what makes you happy? Like, let's start there. And then when you figure out what makes you happy, then we could talk about how you're going to make your money by doing what makes you happy, because everything has a business model. Do you hear what I'm saying? Are you listening to me? I'm going to pause on that for a minute because I just really need you to understand everything has a business model. Do you get what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do. Seriously, wake up, pay attention now. I need y'all to hear me. Everything has a business model, right? So to me, if you start with happiness and then work your way out, then you can avoid a lot of the traps I've seen people fall into. People think money is always going to liberate you. No, sometimes money can trap you. You can get trapped doing something that you don't enjoy. In fact, another good friend of mine, the Wall Street Trapper, he talks about being in the trap. He talks about trapping money. He's being in, living in the trap, coming out the trap. Well, the thing is, you ain't got to be from the hood to be in the trap. A lot of y'all know what it's like to be in a trap. You've been trapped in bad relationships before with somebody that you couldn't stand, somebody that you were trying, like, how the hell do I get away from this woman? How do I get away from this guy? Right? You've been trapped on a job that you hate. Lord, I hate this job. I get up in the morning, I'm depressed. I'm damn near suicidal because I hate my boss that much. right? You know, a lot of you have been trapped. And the thing is, people don't talk about it. So people get financially trapped all the time. You know, if somebody gets you to go into business in something that you do not enjoy and you're doing it just for the money, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that you put the cart in front of the horse and you're probably not going to be happy. And eventually, and no matter how much money you make, if you really hate what you're doing, I personally believe that you're not going to be satisfied, right? But this obviously also comes with a certain number of caveats in terms of realizing that, you know, privileged people have more of an ability to say things like that, right? Like you say, okay, Boyce, you know, you've made money, so of course you can say happiness matters more than money, right? Right. So I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that completely. You know, me as a guy who's made some money, saying that is not the same as when I was a 26-year-old who couldn't even pay the rent. Right. When I'm getting evicted from my apartment, I would have done anything. I would have shoveled shit to get money. And I get that, right? Because sometimes we got to shovel shit. And that goes back to what I was saying, how to make money without working. Well, sometimes you got to work to get money so you can get to a position where you're working and doing the things you love, or to get to the position where you're going to get money without working, or maybe whatever it is, right? So when I'm 26, I'm in graduate school. I'm studying 7 hours a day, not getting paid for that. I am going to work every day at some crappy job that I hate because I got to pay those bills. I totally get all that. But what has to occur is there must be the long-term play. It's got to be strategic. You got to be playing economic chess. You can't be playing economic checkers. Economic checkers is I'm living paycheck to paycheck because I'm always in survival mode. I'm always in struggle mode. I'm always trying to get out the trap, or not even trying to get out the trap, but trying to survive in the trap. Right? Some people, so you know, I'm trying. I'm trying to work my way up to my dream job. I'm dreaming about labor. I'm dreaming about the best prison cell I can possibly find. Like that, there's no such thing as a dream job, by the way. There's no such thing as a dream job. You don't dream about working for white people. Like that's not, I know some of y'all think white people are lovely and, you know, they smell like, you know, butterflies and fried chicken, but there's nothing about working for other people all the time and not having any freedom in your life that represents any kind of a dream. Your dream job should be just a dream with no job, right? And that requires some planning, that requires some strategy, that requires some skill, that requires some knowledge, and I happen to just believe that anybody can do it if they desire to do it, if they have the culture around them to do it, you know, if they're working toward that, right? So ultimately, I would just say stay out the damn trap. You know, when you're investing, if bottom line, if the shit don't feel right for you, I would not do it. Do you understand how many times I have had people come to me with business proposals where I'm like, wow, I could really make a lot of money doing that. But God, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want, because here's the thing, because I'm trading something that is infinitely valuable to me. I'm trading hours and days and months and years of my life, something I'll never get back. I'm trading that to doing something I don't even enjoy just so I can get more money. I don't believe in that. I think that money, the power of money is to get you to the point where you don't care about money anymore. You know, money is it's like a bathroom. You know, bathrooms are very important if you don't have one. In fact, if you move into a house that had no bathroom and you had to just hold your pee for a year, you couldn't even live in that house. You say, I'm sorry, this is the most beautiful house in the world, but I can't live there because there's no bathroom. There's nowhere to use the bathroom, right? But then if they put a bathroom in the house and it's a nice bathroom and, you know, it's got his and hers showers and whatever, right? And a good toilet, at that point, you're not thinking about the bathroom anymore. You know, you're not going to go pick houses just because they have nice bathrooms, or you're not going to go and say, well, okay, well, since I have one good bathroom, I need 30 bathrooms in my house because I just want to pee all day. You don't do that. The bathroom is something that you deal with because it is a lower level need, such that when you fulfill that need, you can go to a higher level. You can start living your best life. Okay, now that I've used the bathroom, I can go spend time with my kids. I can go and have fun with my family. I can go on a trip. I can go and watch a movie. I can go and take a nap. I can go and meditate, right? So because you can't meditate if you got to pee, right? You can't if you're hanging out with somebody. So that's my point. Like, if you don't have your financial situation right, if you have financial instability, this is why, for example, in the Prime program at drboyceprime.com, one thing that we added that I think is really innovative. I think the Black Business School, we're the best on earth when it comes to Black wealth and Black economics. I put us up against anybody on the planet when it comes to putting our people first 100%. We don't tolerate buffoonery. We go hard in the paint at everything we do. One of the innovative things that we did with this program is I brought in my wife as a financial psychologist. Why? Well, because if you look at what holds Black folks back economically, a lot of it is psychological. Financial anxiety is incredibly high. Financial anxiety, financial stress, financial things like financial abuse is very high, because you go through abuse, not just in terms of with your partners and stuff like that, but you have abuse. The white man's been financially abusing Black people for 200-300 years. So financial abuse is a problem. Financial depression can be an issue. There's so much that's going on there in terms of what happens mentally with us when it comes to money and investing, just the fear. Like, why do you keep that job even though you could do better without the job? Well, because you need that security. When you have financial insecurity, it triggers anxieties, and these anxieties are linked to things that happen in our childhood, or maybe the way we grew up, or self-esteem issues, or whatever, right? So in order for you to really, I think, go to that next level, there has to be space for you to do that deep dive into your own psyche, so you can really start to see all the abundance that exists out in this world. People who are really able to go out there and get it, they're not really that scared, or if they are scared, they know how to process that fear in a way that's gonna help them to do better. So anyway, let me answer a question or two. And the URL, by the way, if you want to take a look, is drboyceprime.com, and we're gonna meet next Tuesday, and you can learn all about it at that URL. So let's see here. Al says, when will you and Dr. Alicia come back to Detroit? Probably not anytime soon, maybe next year or something. But yeah, we were in Detroit. I'm thinking about doing like a stock options boot camp. I'm calling it an SOB in September in Atlanta. And so I think I'm going to do maybe a 1 or 2 day boot camp in Atlanta, down at the Black House, aka the Legacy Center. And that's something that I'm really processing and thinking about. Let's see here. If you don't hit the strike price before the call expires, do you lose your money? Elhaj, that's a question. Let's ask that question in class. So if you log in at drboyceprime.com, just click that link to leave the question for me, and we'll dig into that in class for sure. Let's see. I woke up this morning praying to be shown a way to make money without working all the time, and voila, you're doing this live stream. Thanks, Dr. Watkins. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I want to remind everybody, the stock pick of the day was ACV Auctions. The ticker symbol is ACVA. And I'm gonna try to remember next week to follow up to see how the stock is doing. But remember, when I tell you guys that I like a stock, it doesn't mean I like that stock next week. I don't do short-term relationships with most of my investments. I'm not trying to have a one-night stand with this stock. This is a long-term relationship. And in fact, Warren Buffett actually says that if you're not prepared to invest in the stock for 5 years, you shouldn't invest in it for 5 minutes. And maybe he said 10 years, actually. I think 5 years is actually adequate most of the time. AJ says, can investing in REITs be a good way to invest in real estate without investing a lot of money? Absolutely. And the benefit of a REIT, in my view, AJ, is that REITs allow you liquidity. Liquidity is really important. Liquidity basically just means having the ability to get your money out in case you need it, right? So if you go and you invest in a real estate project, it's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing anything involving real estate. I'm a real estate investor myself, a heavy real estate investor. But the thing is, the money I put in my real estate, I can't get it back. Like it will be a process. I got to go fill out paperwork and call people and wait several months. In fact, I just invested in another project. There's a young brother that was doing something. He asked me to invest, and I put my money in it. But it's not fulfilling for me because I had to wait forever to get my money back. And then when I went to go get my money back, they were saying, oh, well, we need a little more time. And I was like, yeah, I know you need time, but you kind of told me you'd give me my money back at a certain time. And then when I went back the second time to get my money back, they were like, oh, we need a little more time. Now I think they're going to pay me back. I think it'll be fine. But it's like when I go through that, I'm sitting there thinking, I don't go through that when I put my money in the stock market, because I can get my money out. There are laws that say that they must give me my money when I ask for it. Like, so I think generally speaking, when you invest, you can't just think about ROI. You got to think about how happy you are with the investment. That's the first thing. Like, are you comfortable with it? Do you understand it? Is it something that makes you fulfilled as a human being, right? Because there's a million ways for you to go out here and make money. But then also you got to think about liquidity. Liquidity is extremely important. Liquidity is the ability to convert your asset to cash. So pay attention to liquidity when you make investments. Don't just, like you put that money in your cousin's liquor store. You go put that money in your cousin's liquor store, then you may not get that money back right away. Your cousin may be like, yeah, I took your money, cuz, and I put it in the store, and now we're not making a profit, and you won't get any money until we start making a profit. Well, you may need your money between now and then. So some of these family investments that we get involved with aren't good because they're not liquid. In fact, that's a huge downfall when it comes to entrepreneurship, is you pour money in, but you can't get the money out. In fact, how many of you, think about it? How many of you run a business right now? Give me a yes or no. How many of you run a business right now? And I'm going to ask you a question that's going to follow up on what I'm asking you. How many of you run a business right now? Okay, I see a lot of yeses in here. All right. Okay, well, okay, so think about it. Let's say over the course of a year, you pour 30,000 into your business or something, right? So your business theoretically should be at least $30,000 more valuable than it was before you put the money in there, right? In terms of what it's worth as an entity, right? So because you put 30,000 in, it's worth at least 30,000 or more theoretically. Let's assume you're putting it into good spaces and you're making good choices with it. How many of you feel like you can just instantly go in the business though and get that money out? Can you just instantly sell the business? Can you just take the business, package it up, and sell it in, I don't know, a week? No, you can't. You can't get your capital out. You can't. I mean, it's there. The value is there, but you don't have a market to sell that value. Right? A well-functioning liquid market is one of the most powerful, most valuable assets that an economy can have. Okay. I'm doing that alarm sound again because I really want us to stick to really hone in on this point, that literally, if you when you're talking about markets and the ability to make money, one of the most valuable things that exists in the United States from an economic standpoint is the fact that you have a well-functioning stock market that is relatively safe, where a company isn't going to get your money and just run off. That's worth trillions of dollars. That literally is worth trillions of dollars. So ultimately, my thought process is that when I'm investing, if I think I might need that money in a year or two, or I'm worried about something happening where I'm going to need my money, I go for the liquidity first. I'm not going to put that money in my cousin's liquor store because I don't know when I'm going to see that bread again. It might be 5 years before I get an ROI. I'm not going to go put that money necessarily in real estate right away because because I don't want to fill out a ton of paperwork and have to get a credit approval in order to take the equity out of my house. I want to just be able to go get it and have it back in an hour. I'm going toward liquid assets because in the stock market, I can go, and I do this every week. I deploy thousands of dollars into the stock market. And if my wife says, hey, baby, can you pay off the American Express card? I can say, sure, and go sell some stock at 1:00, pay the card off at 1:05 and be done with it. Right. That's pretty cool. That's worth something. That's worth value. I think my point here would be, two things you want to think about as an investor is liquidity and just comfort level. Don't just do something. In my view, this is my 2 cents. It's not investment advice. This is my 2 cents. I never, ever involve myself in any investment that bores me or makes me or irritates me or violates my ethical boundaries, or it's going to have me working my ass off to the point where I can't spend time with my kids. My ultimate investment, my most important investments are my kids, my wife, my health, my peace. If you violate those things, you can't pay me $1 trillion to invest in that business. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. So make your money. Don't just make money. Make your money. Like I went down. You guys know one of my good friends is Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. I don't ask me how me and Willie became friends. I never, back in the day when he was doing Ghetto Boy stuff, I never thought he and I would ever be friends. But he's a very intelligent man. He was actually one of the groomsmen in my wedding, believe it or not. And he's a great guy. He's smart. His kids are doing really well, and he just really gets it. I mean, him and another friend of mine by the name of Ice Cube. I really respect these guys because they've evolved. They went through their years in gangster rap and everything else, and all that stuff, but they became these really intelligent businessmen where I can really have a deep, thoughtful conversation with these guys, and they totally follow everything that I'm talking about. These guys are geniuses, right? So anyway. So I was talking to Willie about some stuff with economics and money and everything else, and just generally one of the things that that I remember kind of processing is all the different ways that as Black people we kind of misunderstand what money is and what it's supposed to do for you, and we misunderstand what it means to go into things that um that have a value that go beyond just how much money you're putting in your own personal bank account. And also I would encourage you to have the courage to have your own sort of train of thought in terms of what sorts of things you'll be involved with and what you'll do for money. Because here's the thing, one of the reasons that Black people struggle, I believe, in terms of power is because we have so many of our people that were trained to do anything in order to get money. They were trained to believe that if somebody pays you money to do something, you should do it. That literally, if you get paid money to do the most ridiculous thing in the world, to betray your people, to embarrass your family, to make yourself look crazy and stupid, you should do it. And I just think that that's fundamentally wrong. I really think that if you think that way, you're missing the whole point of what economics is supposed to do for you. Economics is supposed to liberate you from that BS. It's supposed to free you. But unfortunately, in some cases, money, if you don't understand it properly and process it in the right way and keep it in its place, like if you can't control the money and instead let the money control you, then next thing you know, you'll find yourself wishing that you never made any money. Has anybody heard, what was it? Like Diddy and Biggie used to rap about like more money, more problems. And then D1, who's another great rapper I love. He was actually at my wedding too, and I love D1. D1 had a song called "I Hate Money," and in the song, one thing D is talking about is how he says, "I hate money because I've seen money destroy relationships. I've seen money destroy people. I've seen money get people killed. I've seen money ruin people." And it's ironic because at the same time, D has another song where he's talking about the fact that he pays Sally Mae back. He talks about investing all the time. So he talks about money a lot. He understands the power of money. He loves money, but he hates it. And what I interpret that to mean is that he understands that money, when it's used in the appropriate way, when you approach it in a healthy way, it can be the best thing that ever happened to you. But if you approach it in an unhealthy way, it could be the worst thing that ever happened to you. We have a lot of our people that get killed over money. We have a lot of our people that we have little girls that'll sleep with, nasty, diseased old men to get money. We have people that will do desperate things for money. They will humiliate themselves to get money. You see people on Instagram embarrassing themselves over money, right? And so I think that just understanding that proper context that works for you is really important. And I don't really know if we talk about that enough as a community. I really think that conversations about financial psychology, financial trauma, those are some of the other things that my wife is going to cover, because she really is a trauma expert. Like she has a trauma certification. She has she's licensed in therapy. She's also a full professor of social work, not just a PhD, but a full professor. Very few PhDs become full professors. So she's at the top of her field. She was the only scholar in the history of her university to actually get a not a Rhodes Scholarship, but a Fulbright Scholarship. That's why Guyana called her in, because she's one of the world's leading experts on things like suicide, because they had a suicide problem. So she did a Fulbright on suicide, whatever, in Guyana. So long story short, my point is to say that we're really big right now in the Black Business School on talking about the angles of wealth that go beyond the silly stuff. Like, to me, the silly stuff is, when you get some guy, some rapper, up on stage, showing off all of his jewelry, and say, look at me, I'm blinging and all this other stuff, and I'm driving a fancy car or whatever. Like that to me is it's immature, it's childish. It's not it doesn't show that you're enlightened as a human being. It kind of says that you're not just immature, but you don't really, like, you're just so happy to even get a couple dollars, and that you're using it to kind of buy your self-esteem. Like, maybe because you didn't feel like you were worth anything, now you think that because you got money in your pocket, a couple chains around your neck, that you are somebody. And the reality is that this, to me, is a very unhealthy way to approach economic power and economic strength. In fact, if you look at it, I mean, look at how many rappers self-destruct. I mean, dozens of rappers die every year. They die every year. They get killed. They die from drug overdoses. And then the ones that live, a lot of them don't have healthy lives. You have guys like Future that got 85,000 kids with 10 million babies, mamas. He gonna go broke. He better keep rapping. He better be, that boy he better not ever stop rapping because if he stops rapping and stops making money, he can't pay all those mothers that are going to be coming after him. And so what it does is, it doesn't just ruin you financially, but those bad choices for young guys that are being promoted heavily in media, it doesn't just destroy you financially, but it destroys you psychologically. It'll ruin your mental health. It'll cause you lots of stress, especially when you get over the age of 35 and 40, when your best days are behind you, and now you're dealing with the consequences of all the choices that you made when you were younger. It causes tremendous pain and suffering amongst your seed. You've not done the job of a parent, because your children hate you. Your children are now growing up making bad choices because, well, my daddy was a piece of crap. My daddy was mean to me. He beat up my mama. He abandoned us. And now your child is continuing with these generational curses, right? And the thing is that we look past all of that because we're looking at the bright, shiny object. We're looking at this guy who is being put on TV by white folks to call himself the N-word and embarrass his whole community. And he's got some talent, right? He can make a good song that's nice and cute. But at the end of the day, it's like you let the money kind of blind you to the other 50,000 things that are happening that are so detrimental and destructive to your community that's ridiculous. The money becomes the thing that causes you to not see anything else. So the thing about money is that money's so powerful. Money can blind you. Like, money can blind you. And this is part of economic warfare, Black people. That's what you got to understand. This is economic warfare. Again, I have a PhD in money, so I'm qualified to talk about these things. When you run around crying like a baby over oppression, you're crying because, oh, they got their foot on our neck. Oh, they're killing us. Oh, it's so bad to be Black. Oh, it ain't right. Oh, I'm single parent. Oh, we're in poverty. Oh, it's so hard. Well, you got to understand that a lot of the reason this stuff gets by, and the reason that you stay in the trap, is because the thing you think is getting you out of the trap is putting you further in. Do you hear what I'm saying? Give me a yes if you hear what I'm saying. I really want you to kind of understand this. Like, I'll give you one example. This is not, so let's stop talking about rappers for a minute. Let's talk about us college educated Black people, right? All of us go to college because we want to get out the trap, and I'm a big fan of college and all that, because I was a college professor for a long time. I still am. I mean, I just teach in the Black Business School. So a lot of us go to college because college is the way to improve your life, right? So then we go to college, we work hard, we graduate, and then you're saddled with all this debt. And did you know that half of all Black college graduates default on their student loans? Half of all Black college graduates have taken on so much debt. And I'm not making fun of you in this category. I swear I'm not making fun of you. So do not think I'm making fun of you. In fact, I'm gonna cheer for you for doing your best to try to break generational curses. I think that's extremely important. God bless you for doing that. But here's the reality, though. We're doing it wrong. we thought that the education would get us out of the trap, but really the education pulled you in the trap. It's like quicksand. Like, anybody used to watch, I remember I used to watch like The Incredible Hulk. And I remember when they would get caught in, and sometimes they would get caught in quicksand. And with quicksand, it was interesting because they would say that the more you move to try to get out of the quicksand, the more it would suck you in. And so in a way, like the more, sometimes if you use the wrong method to get out of the trap, the more you do the thing that you think is going to get you out of the trap, the further deeper into the trap you go. So when I look at student loans, that's what I see. Basically, what happened with student loans, and the reason you got to the point that you can't repay that debt is because you basically made, to some extent, some would say, a bad investment. I'm not saying education is a bad investment. I'm all for education. I'm all for it. I mean, I have way too much of it. So why would I tell you not to be educated? But there's a difference between going to school and being educated. And there's also a difference between education and knowledge. So let's just make sure that that's clear. Knowledge tends to come with wisdom and experience, or, et cetera. That's kind of in the same lane. Education you can get without going to school. Going to school, I know people that went to school for 10 years and don't know nothing, right? So don't think that going to school makes you educated, or that being educated makes you knowledgeable and wise. Those are all different concepts. And so think about this, right? So if you think about education as a financial investment, I invest in my education because I want to get a positive return on investment. What does that mean? That means that the amount of money that I put into my education, I'm supposed to get more than that amount out and when I'm done. So that gives me the ability to go back and repay all that debt and to move on with my life and to eventually become profitable, cash flow positive. But if you take on so much debt that you can't repay it, and it ruins your credit score, and it puts you in a position where it's going to put you in financial quicksand, where you're literally spiraling downward for the rest of your life, where you're working until you're old and gray and dead, and you never have the ability to do things that wealthy people do, like buy homes and buy stocks and bonds or start businesses or eventually quit your job, then to some extent what's happened is you've simply started a business where you borrowed too much money. Some businesses can do that. Some businesses can borrow so much money that they can't repay the debt. You borrowed so much money that you can't repay the debt, which means that was a bad business move. So the loan itself is not really the problem. The problem is that the revenue produced from the loan was not adequate to repay the loan. So maybe $10,000 to go to school might have been more adequate as opposed to borrowing $200,000 to go to school. Or maybe if you did borrow $200,000 to go to school, you better go become a pharmacist or a medical doctor or an attorney or an engineer or an entrepreneur so you can repay that debt. If you go borrow $200,000 so you can get a degree in English literature, I'm gonna just look at you funny. I'm just literally gonna I'm just gonna look at you like, how's this supposed to work? How's this supposed to work? How's this supposed to work? It's like a person who it's like you've got a family of 12 and y'all all expect to travel across the country in a Volkswagen. That can't happen. You can't fit 12 people in a Volkswagen. It defies the law of logic and physics. It doesn't make any sense to me. So what I'm saying to you guys in general is just do stuff that makes sense. That's it. I think if you're looking around, this is all I do. This is all I do. You know what? When I do my podcast, honestly, the reason I just sound so strange sometimes is because I'm constantly processing how the world actually works. I'm constantly trying to understand how the world works. I've been doing this since I was 22 years old. I would just sit there and stare at the wall and try to figure out how the world works. And what I would think about is I would say, wait a minute. They say that you're supposed to do this in order to do that, and that's supposed to lead to this, which is supposed to lead to that. But that doesn't lead to this. This leads to that. So why would I do that if it's going to lead to this? I would literally say that. I'd say they tell you that 2 + 2 is 12, but I added up 2 + 2, and it was actually 4. And no one is saying that it's actually 4. Everybody believes it's 12 because everybody is telling you to just believe that it's 12 because that's what everybody said. Dr. Fauci said it's 12, so it's got to be 12. Your favorite rapper said 2 + 2 is 12, so that's got to be true. And that's just not the case. So I think that Black people, when you're really talking about pursuing this money thing, I encourage you to use this thing that people don't use very often. And it's a radical concept. And the radical concept is this thing called common sense. Common sense means that if you are trying to succeed as a black person in this country, you really have to look at the things that matter to you. And you have to make sure that the choices that you make are going to benefit you in the areas that are important. Simple example. We go to school and we learn the Pythagorean theorem. We learn all kinds of crap about biology and chemistry. And I took a class in college about Irish peasants. Why the hell, I'm not going to cuss. I was going to say, why the fuck, but I'm not going to cuss. It's a Sunday. Why in the hell would I, as a black man, need to know anything about Irish peasants when at that time I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook? I didn't know. There's nothing about Irish peasants that I can learn as a black man at that point in my life that would make me a better black man. I mean, I could learn things that would give me an A in the class, but there's nothing about that class that I was learning that was going to make me better. You know what I learned in that class? This is honest God truth. I learned about that the Irish peasants used to drink this drink called Boney Clabber. And Boney Clabber is literally where you get some milk and you let the milk spoil, and then you put cow's blood in the milk, and people would drink that nasty shit. Like I'm sorry if you white, I'm not trying to be offensive, but some of the stuff y'all do is just weird. It doesn't. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be racist or mean, but I got to be honest. That's weird. Like, who would drink spoiled milk and cow's blood? But that's what Boney Clabber was, and I never forgot about Boney Clabber. But why would I be learning about Boney Clabber if I'm a black man in a world that is trying to destroy me every single day of the week? It seems to me that if I'm a black man trying to survive, when all the odds are stacked against me, going back to the time when I was a baby in my mother's stomach and they told her to go to Planned Parenthood and just get an abortion, that would make all her problems go away. My life has been on the line since I was a baby. And why in the world would I waste time learning about Boney Clabber when there's so many other things I need to learn before I get to Irish peasants? So I think that what you got to do is, when you talk about common sense, you got to think about it like this, right? If I'm educating a black child, you know what I'm going to do? I would educate that child. I would say, okay, first thing you need to know is you need to know reading, writing, and math, because you need to be able to read and take in information, as much information as possible. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. Because you're black, you need to have all the knowledge. You need to be able to write so you can communicate your ideas, so that when you have good ideas, you can share them and people understand what the hell you're talking about. And you need to know math, because if you don't know math, then you can't do business. You can't make money, because how can you make money when you can't even count? How can you make money when you can't even, if I say, hey, let's do a business deal and you'll get 20% of the profits, and you can't even tell me what 20% of $1 million is, how in the hell are you going to do business when every person that knows how to do math better than you is going to rip you off? So why in the hell, as black people, would we ever allow our children to come out of public school and not at least know how to do math? How? I mean, seriously, think about that. I'm just asking you a serious question. This is 2 + 2 is 4. This is logic. This is chess here, not checkers. How do you expect to compete economically in a world that is built on economic warfare? How do you think you can compete when your kids can't even count and do multiplication or do percentages? Do you follow what I'm saying? Or do you get what I'm saying? Am I talking to myself? Am I just, because I, if I'm getting crickets on this, then that will kind of let me know where we're at, because I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems to me that a young black child needs to be more prepared for success and for life than anybody else. So if I'm educating a child, I make sure he knows reading, writing, math. Then I'm gonna make sure he understands the ways people make money. Okay, son, you're gonna need money one day, because if you don't need money, the white man's gonna put his foot on your neck and he's not gonna let up. So in order for you to make money, son, here's some things that I've done for you. Number one, I've invested for you since you were a child. So we did something that there's this weird guy on the internet that everybody hates named Dr. Boyce Watkins. And I went to his website, blackmoneyminute.com, and I got a free e-copy of his book, How to Build Wealth by Investing $5 a Day. So son, I went ahead and invested $5 a day for you. So here's a check for $250,000 to prepare you for life, right? So that's the first thing I do. Secondly, I say, son, let me explain to you. Here's how you can keep the man's foot off your neck is you can actually learn how to make money. Well, you got to understand where the money's at. The money's in America is in 3 key areas. It's in stocks, it's in real estate, And it's in owning your own business. So, son, I'm going to make sure that you own stocks and understand how they work. I'm also going to make sure that you know how to buy real estate, that you understand that being an owner is better than being a renter. I'm also going to make sure, son, that you learn how to start your own business in case you ever decide to go to work one day and tell your boss to kiss your whole entire black ass. I need you to be ready for that, son, because if you say that and you ain't got no money, then you're going to be homeless and hungry. But if you say it and you got somewhere to go and you got some pride and some dignity and you know you got a couple of streams of income on the side that are going to take care of you, then guess what? You get to keep your pride, you get to keep your dignity, and you get to keep your testicles firmly attached to your body. You won't get emasculated, son, because I got you ready for the world. So after I teach you reading, writing, and math, we're going to learn stocks, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Then we're also going to learn some basic things like Black history so that you know who the hell you are. A lot of our people are lost. And they get a bunch of money and stuff and they think they're successful, and they're constantly chasing this validation, this false validation from other people, because they never learned who they are. They never learned how great it is to be Black. They never learned how extraordinary we are as a people. They never learned anything about Kemet and Kush and all the great things we did before we became slaves. They only learned that Black people used to be slaves, and then Harriet Tubman came along, and then Martin Luther King, and now everything's wonderful. And then you wonder why so many of our kids are backed up. Well, they're struggling because they don't know who they are, right? So, so again, as I invite you guys to the event on Tuesday, which is totally free, and it's basically how to become a millionaire by investing 5 minutes a month. It's free to everybody in the Black Business School. There is a fee. It's $99 if you want to buy a ticket, but I don't want you to buy a ticket. Just come to the Black Business School, join a free membership, go to blackkeystogreatness.com. Every Wednesday night, we do what I would call economic church. We go through the book Powernomics, page by page, word by word, paragraph by paragraph, syllable by syllable, and you learn how to compete, how to win. I really am not interested in whining my way to the top. I'm not a baby. I'm not here to, I'm not here to go and march and pray and beg and tell people Black Lives Matter. And even though I know they don't give a damn, that's just not my way. My belief is that if you get your stuff together, if you are on top of your game and you are better prepared than the opposition, then you will win. It's that simple. That's why a lot of you all are in here, are in military. I know I follow you. I pay attention to the people that follow me. Everywhere I go, I'm meeting former soldiers and retired military. And thank you for your service, by the way. I'll never disrespect a soldier on this platform. I commend you tremendously for your service to this country. And the reason I think that a lot of military people come to the platform is because they get it. They understand that war is not fair. War is not fair. And some of us are raised in this patty cake world where we're taught that the world's supposed to be fair. Well, that ain't right. She ain't supposed to get fired because she got natural hair. No, she's not. But who owns the damn company? Well, that ain't right. They're not supposed to mess with him because he's a Black man. Yeah, but do you control the politics and the economics in your community? Are you prepared for war, for battle? That ain't right. Those white people, they hire other white people before they hire Black people. Yeah, well, that's because they own the businesses, and the people who own the company pick the people that they want to pick. I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay. I guess I offend people when I talk like this, but this is the world you're looking at. This is the world you live in. And I don't understand. I think that we are so addicted to the fairy tale of equality and fairness that we don't understand the reality of war. And that's why I like my soldiers, because soldiers understand war. Soldiers understand that war does not give a damn about your feelings. War does not care about what's right and wrong. War typically does not care about who has the moral high ground and all this other stuff. War is about preparation. It's about strategy. It's about competition. So I'm making sure that if you have a son of a bitch in this earth that you love, if you love your children, you will do whatever you got to do to protect your babies. You will do whatever is necessary to protect the people you love. And I'm going to tell you like this. I am a father and a husband, and I'm damn proud of it. Damn proud of it. I'm proud to that this black woman loves me. I'm proud of the children, all that. And there ain't nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that they are ready for the war that lies in front of them. You're not going to see my daughters out here sleeping with some dude because she can't pay the rent. No, daddy's going, we preparing for that right now. We're going to make sure that you are ready for economic warfare. You're not going to be a victim of financial abuse because I'm going to make sure that you understand economics. I'm going to make sure you have plenty of wealth. I'm going to make sure you know how to go get your money so you'll never end up having to go lay down with some man or degrade yourself in order to get your bills paid. We prepare our son. I say, son, I need you to live on your feet. You will not live on your knees. You will live on your feet. You will stand tall because you're going to be intelligent. You're going to be prepared. You're going to be ready to fight. You're going to be mentally tough, and you're going to have assets in your pocket, and you're going to know how to make your own money so that if anybody ever challenges you, you will be able to stand up for the challenge. When we send our children out into the world and they are not prepared, basically what you do is you're putting them in the impossible position of trying to fight a battle that they cannot win. Every time the situation calls for them to stand up, their boss will tell them to sit your black ass right back down. And I don't want to hear nothing else from you. And they're going to have to sit down. Your black men, a lot of your black men are little boys. You know, there's nothing, there's no pride in that. And a lot of it comes from a lack of preparation because you don't understand that you're in a war. You think your friends are your enemies and that your enemies are your friends. I don't have that illusion. I don't think these people love me. I don't expect them to love me. I don't love them. I don't hate them. I just don't love them. I just don't care. I don't care. I care about my family. I care about mine. That's what I care about. I care about y'all. I care about black folks. And there's nothing bad about that. There's nothing racist about that. It's, whatever you want to call it. You know, that's what people do. That's what human beings do. They take care of themselves, period. Now, Dee Dee, let's take a break. Let me get out of that mindset. Y'all know me. I get on a stream of consciousness, and it ends up overwhelming me. So Dee Dee says the website is not working for me. Which website are you talking about? Let me know which website you're referring to, and I will do a screen share. If you're talking about drboyceprime.com, it should work. I can actually do a screen share and show you guys what it looks like, what it should look like on your screen here. Let me see. So the Dr. Boyce Prime page, and we meet on Thursday, by the way. And if you're in the class, you'll get an email from me in a day or so. But yeah, so this is what it should look like. And if you want to join us in the program, use the annual option. You can hit annual here or monthly. You can hit monthly here. And there's a full description of everything that we cover. And these are all the bonuses. There's a ton of bonus classes and information, and not just information, but also connections. And we store all the lectures here in the Prime Plus lectures. So everything's recorded. Every week I give you the list of what I call the Dr. Boyce Money Makers, which is stock options that I'm selling this week. I actually show you how to form a family investment club that can function as a family bank. There's an options masterclass included in the bundle, so you can get familiar with the basics of stock options on the buy and the sell side. There's something called Ask Dr. Boyce, where I've been answering questions on finance for about 8 years in this program, and I stored everything. I saved every single thing. What Dr. Boyce is buying every week. These are the stocks that I really like the most. I did something called a financial Juneteenth investing masterclass. I stored everything there. You can have access to that. So there's a ton of stuff in here. So if you go to drboyceprime.com, you can take a look. So feel free to take a visit if you'd like to join us. Or Black Keys to Greatness. Okay, so Black Keys to Greatness is the one that's not working. So let me see here. Let me check that one. Okay, so Black Keys to Greatness. Let me put it in here. It should come. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Okay. So I got to get that one looked at. So that one, don't go to that one then. I apologize for that. Let me get on it. Let me get with the team and talk to them about that. And so if you want to join us for the Tuesday event, if you can't get Black Keys to Greatness, then just go to theblackbusinessschool.com and do the free membership. I'll take a look at Black Keys to Greatness right away. It normally works. It's been working for years. So today's the first day where it had any issues. So I'll get that fixed immediately. Okay, guys. So thank you. It was a lot of fun to talk to you today. And I hope you have a wonderful life, and I will check back in with you soon. and we'll talk about different stocks. And the stock of the day I mentioned earlier is ACV Auctions. The ticker symbol is ACVA. And Prof A.R. Robinson. Yes, I've been on your mailing list since it began. Love you, doctor. I love you too. I love you too. Wow, since it began, you're talking about going way back to 2009. It's 13 years. That's a big deal. And so you can join us for the Tuesday event at 8 p.m. where we're going to talk about how to be a millionaire with 5 minutes a month. And students in the Black Business School get invited for free. So if you want to join, or you could pay the $99 fee if you want to, but you don't have to. You can, if you join the Black Business School for free, I will send you an invitation to join us Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So feel free to do the free membership in the Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com. You can get started there. All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thank you for listening. And I will see you soon. Take care. Peace.